This week's Nextel Fan of the Week, presented by Sprint, is Vicki Marvel from Alvin, Texas. Vicki, tell me how you motivate business people with a NASCAR theme.
I do a speech with my Marvelous Motivations company called Rev It Up. I come in with my Tony Stewart jacket on and race music blaring and checker flags waving, and we do pit stops and we do all kinds of teamwork exercises with buddy racers and so forth. And I just generally motivate them and have a great time, and they learn something too.
If you'd like to be the Fan of the Week, log on to NASCAR.com/Nextel.
Like never before in 360 degrees of full surround sound. Get ready to hear the big picture, because the only way to experience the full impact of HD is with NBC Sports and Sony HD Audio. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR NEXTEL Cup Series race. Budweiser congratulates Ryan Newman on his 8th pole of 2005, and needless to say, he will be in the Budweiser shootout when we get to Daytona in February. Here's the Harley-Davidson starting grid for today's running of the Dickies 500. Ryan Newman won the pole, crashed on his second lap, as we talked about in the countdown. He will start at the back of the field in a backup car. Jeff Gordon will start outside of row 1.
In row 2 on the inside, Matt Kenseth. He will inherit the pole when Newman goes to the back. Joe Nemechek outside row 2.
Row 3, Mayfield on the inside. Good qualifying run for Mike Bliss. 0 car on the outside.
Row 4, Greg Biffle, one of the chasers, along with his teammate Mark Martin, another guy in the chase for the Nextel Cup.
On the inside of row 5 is Bill Elliott, trying some stuff for Evernham for 2006, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the outside.
And there's Jimmy Johnson on the inside, looking for a good day, as well as Elliott Sadler has had a victory at this racetrack.
Row 7, Dave Blaney, who's looking for a ride in 2006, and Denny Hamlin, who got one handed to him this morning with Joe Gibbs Racing. He's in row 7.
Inside row 8 is Casey Kane. And Tony Stewart, our NASCAR Nextel Cup leader, with just 3 to go on the outside.
Row 9, Bobby Labonte on the inside. 18 car on the outside, Kurt Busch, defending champion.
Row 10, Scott Wimmer, next to veteran Ricky Rudd.
Row 11, someone picked Brian Vickers to win today. We'll see if that's true. Scott Riggs on the outside.
Row 12, good run for Kevin LePage in the 66 car. On the outside, Kyle Busch.
Row 13, Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Rusty Wallace. His last race at Texas, and it is Rusty Wallace Day in the state of Texas today.
Row 14, we fight on the inside. Mark Truex Jr., leader in the NASCAR Busch Series points, and Mike Skinner on the outside.
Row 15 on the inside, Dale Jarrett, UPS 88 car, and Carl Edwards. Watch out for him today.
Row 16, Michael Waltrip. He's next to another former Texas winner, Jeff Burton.
Inside of row 17 is Kevin Harvick, the winner here yesterday in a 300-mile event. Terry Labonte on the outside, born in Texas.
Row 18, Casey Mears on the inside. On the outside, Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer.
Take you back to row 19. We'll find Travis Kvapil right next to Kyle Petty.
Row 20, we find a couple of Chip Ganassi cars. Sterling Marlin on the inside, Jamie McMurray on the outside.
Row 21, Ken Schrader on the inside. On the outside, driving for Petty, Jeff Green.
And starting 43rd today, Mike Wallace. The 43 starters for today's race. Robbie Gordon, P.J. Jones, Stuart Kirby, Carl Long, Johnny Sauter, Reed Sorensen failed to qualify. And again, as we talked about, Ryan Newman crashed on his second lap of qualifying after winning the pole. Will have to go to the back of the field in a backup car. Wally?
Let's see if we can get a hold of Elliott Sadler. Elliott, this is Wally in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear.
All right. Well, you know how to win at this place. Do you have something today?
I think our combo sport's pretty good, Wally, but I tell you, this is a different Texas racetrack than it's ever been in the past. We learned yesterday that the groove gets really wide. We can run up against the wall, and it's kind of getting like Atlanta. I think the team that gets their car running up high today the best is going to be the team to beat.
That and this place is going to change a little bit by temperature where this race goes into evening. You guys on top of your game there?
Yeah, we built a lot of adjustment into it. My crew chief just told me it's already 4 or 5 degrees cooler now track temperature than when we practiced yesterday. Turn 1 is a lot more in the shade than when it was in practice, so it's kind of going to be like the Coca-Cola 600, kind of where you got to keep your car freed up as the night goes on, and hopefully we've got enough adjustment in the car to be able to do that. So we'll see what happens.
Good luck, Elliott.
All right, you guys have fun today.
Our thanks to Elliott. Let's get you set for the race. Final stories from pit road, starting with Matt Yoakum.
And Bill, Elliott Sadler's chasing that $1 million, but the guys that are chasing the big money. You know, you got Greg Biffle, Jimmy Johnson trying to close that gap of Tony Stewart. Now, if you look at the 16 team, now they won here in the spring, and you heard Biffle say the confidence. They feel like their car is just as good as it was here in the spring, and he felt like the biggest key will be tonight staying on top of this racetrack as it changes from daylight into the nighttime. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson, their team, they have a good car, but not great. In fact, Chad Knaus told me he woke up at 3 a.m. this morning, so glad that it was not an impound weekend. They could come up with different ideas of how to make that car even better. Jimmy has never finished worse than 9th here at Texas. Dave?
Mark Martin should be good today. The last 3.5 mile tracks that we've raced on, average finish 3.0 and a 3rd place last week at Atlanta. Following which, he said in his press release, boy, if I could have a car that good, I'd race until I was 60. That takes us to the 2019 season. It would probably be with Jack Roush, and we'll wait and see. Marty?
Dave talked to Matt Kenseth moments ago. He told me goal number 1 for the day can be accomplished on lap 1. Getting those 5 bonus points very early in the race will help their championship cause. And emphatically, he told me this morning, we're still in this championship. In the 3 races before the chase, they made up 163 points and 6 positions. They can do it again here in the championship chase. Alan?
Earlier this week, Tony Stewart, talking about his past record here at Texas, said, we haven't set the world on fire here, just me back in April. You heard him say earlier, the goal for today, not to have a 31st place finish like he did earlier, but to make sure he finishes in front of all the other championship contenders and keeps his point lead intact. Bill?
Thanks, Alan. You guys have a great day down there on pit road. Crowd of about 190,000 here at the Texas Motor Speedway. They sold tickets to people from all 50 states and 12 foreign countries. They've come to see the NASCAR NEXTEL Cup Series go 500 miles on this 1.5 mile track. Front row now of Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon as pole sitter Ryan Newman drops to the back of the field. 3 races to go in the chase for the championship and 500 miles to chase the checkered flag at Texas. Live on NBC.
Get to the bottom fast right now by the looks of it.
5 bonus points for Matt Kenseth for leading the first lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the inside of Blaney.
Boy, Blaney was all over the racetrack. You know, the pressures are down on these cars. They're real hard to drive right now until the tire pressures build up. So everybody's got to be real careful this part of the race. Also, the track will start, the groove will start getting a little bit wider once they get the pressures up.
Kenseth, Gordon. That's front 2 cars.
Looks like there's someone coming off turn 4. Looks like Bill Elliott gets a little bit loose and just barely touches the wall off turn 4. Elliott Sadler, the 38 car, trying to get by Bill.
The drivers in yellow on the ticker at the top of the screen, the 10 drivers in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup Championship. Dave?
BP, you said that Bill Elliott might be trying some stuff for Evernham, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that was one of them.
No, that's not in the playbook.
Yeah, Elliott's got his hands full right there. Car got loose again. You can see the tail wanting to just kick out and get sideways right in the center of the corner.
And that's another Evernham car, the 9 of Casey Kane. Casey hit the wall here yesterday.
Leading the race yesterday and blew a right front tire. We see Nemechek about to lose a spot to Greg Biffle 16, and here comes Mike Bliss in 0.
To keep Nemechek up there on the high side, Joe may lose a few spots right there.
I tell you, walking through the garage here this morning, I saw some nervous crew chiefs because they're just such an unknown on this racetrack in the fall.
Dave?
Wow, did you see the zero get loose right there?
Sure did.
I did, Wally. Not that good for Mike right now, trying to hold his position. But on the outside, Joe Nemechek, his crew chief, Ryan Pemberton, was a little bit nervous because of the way that they practiced yesterday. Unusually poor, according to Ryan. They tried a bunch of stuff as far as fixing it overnight. We'll see how it holds for the 01 Army car.
A lot of the guys this morning were talking about, in order to not have these cars be so tight or push off the corners, they have to loosen them up. But the problem is they're all loose getting into the corner. 190 plus mile per hour going into these corners, and the car wants to get sideways as you turn the steering wheel. Not a lot of fun.
And a lot of talk in the garage this morning, Benny, about the car behind these two, the 6 car Mark Martin and the Roush team as a whole.
Just how fast that 6 car was in practice, how good they feel like he's going to be in the race. And Pat Tryson, the crew chief on the 6 car, one of the crew chiefs that really wasn't very nervous.
But a lot of confidence in your driver when you got a guy like Mark with the wheel. And Alan talked about Mark's confidence on the Bank of America Countdown to Green. When Mark has that feel on a Sunday morning, you know he's sure his car is going to be good.
Part of that is having a crew chief like Pat Tryson, because he brings a whole calm to the race team.
Ryan Newman, the 12 car, trying to work his way forward. Alan?
At BP, we talked about the story where he won the pole on his first qualifying lap Friday, crashed on his second. This backup car that's on the track now has not been raced since November 2001. Crew Chief Matt Borland said it's not the car we really wanted to be using today, but they had a little malfunction at their shop, a little snafu, he called it, in their production. So they put this car on the truck. He said it's not bad, but it's not like the piece we had Friday.
Newman's going to have to fight his way through the field.
We see him back in 40th position.
Got 500 miles to get there. Had a good car here yesterday in the Busch race, but as Wally talked about, their pit strategy hurt them.
And Junior, the 8 car, goes by Mark Martin on the outside. Already they've moved these groove up on the top side, Alan.
Hey, BP, remember the race in Atlanta last Sunday when Junior led so much?
Yes.
Same car. They cleaned it up, brought it back. They're very confident they're going to have a good run today. Dave?
Alan, Mike Bliss trying to hold station there in the 0 car right now. He just radioed in that his car was very loose coming off the corner. Wanted to whip around that rear end, and he doesn't like racing with Joe Nemechek right now. In fact, he wishes he could get by him, but so far hasn't been able to do it.
Well, he's going to be real loose now getting into one if he's side by side with Earnhardt. When you're down there on the bottom like that, it makes your car even worse. But there's enough room in between those 2 cars, so it's not as bad. If they were real tight together, 0 would be sideways.
And we saw 2 examples of that yesterday.
In the Busch race, we saw J.J. Yeley and Adrian Fernandez both go in the corner on the inside of someone, backed in the fence. Greg Biffle, the 16 car, Matt, he's going somewhere.
Yes, he is, BP. He's trying to reel in the 19 of Mayfield. Now, he just told his team on the radio the car is bottoming out, especially down in turns 1 and 2, and running me up the racetrack. Can't run down the bottom line, but he takes that position away from the Dodge of Mayfield.
Biffle was not very happy here on Friday afternoon after the practice sessions, but was happy after his qualifying run.
He didn't know where that came from, I don't think.
No, I don't think he did either, but he's glad it showed up. We did that interview with him that you saw on the Countdown to Green between qualifying and the practice session, and it was after the practice session when Greg wasn't exactly thrilled with the way things were going, but they're working out all right so far. Same for Matt Kenseth. He's out front, trying to hang on in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup Championship. 12 laps in the books at the Great American Speedway in Fort Worth.